Banshee at Kings Island in Mason, Ohio is a powerful Bolliger and Mabillard inverted roller coaster. It opened in 2014 and it stands 167 feet tall, has over 4,100 feet of track, reaches a top speed of 68 miles per hour, and has 7 inversions. It is currently the world's longest inverted roller coaster. And this roller coaster is great and packed with so many positive G-forces. This is our full-length, in-depth review of Banshee and our comments about what you can expect when you go to Kings Island to ride this coaster. Now, let's take a stroll through Haunted Hill. Banshee is located in the Action Zone section of Kings Island. It stands on part of the land Kings Island used for the infamous and problematic Son of Beast roller coaster, the world's first and only inverting wooden hyper roller coaster. After several years of issues, Kings Island closed and removed the Son of Beast. In 2013, Kings Island announced Banshee, which would break the record for the world's longest and fastest Bolliger and Mabillard inverted roller coaster. As soon as you enter Kings Island, you take a left off of International Street right before the fountain, past the Kings Island Theater and Delirium, directly into the Action Zone section of the park. When you enter this section of the park, you will immediately see Banshee's purple track and blue supports, as well as trains flying through the ride's first inversion. As you approach the ride, you will see a large marquee displaying the ride name and logo. This logo looks awesome. It features a ghostly figure with stretched out arms and hands with sharp nails, the Banshee. As you enter the queue, you will see some good theming, which includes a massive monument honoring the removed Son of Beast roller coaster. This monument has an eternal flame, which is a nice way to honor the Son of Beast. You pass the Son of Beast monument and make your way through Banshee's large queue, which on busier days includes several switchbacks. As you reach the station, you will climb up some stairs and into the station. When you get into the station, you will not see much theming other than some lanterns. You will also see one of Banshee's 3 8-row 32-passenger trains. These trains have an updated design and different restraints than those you can find on other Bolliger and Mabillard inverts. Banshee actually uses vest restraints like the ones you can find on newer Bolliger and Mabillard dive coasters like Yukon Striker. Once you have boarded your train, secured your vest restraints, and cleared dispatch, you immediately take a left-hand turn out of the station and start ascending the lift hill to start your ride. At the top of the lift hill, you hear the Banshee shriek before taking a diving right-hand turn down Banshee's 150-foot first drop. This first drop does not have a pre-drop, so you get whipped down it, especially if you are sitting towards the back of the train. At the bottom of the first drop, you pull up and enter the ride's first inversion, a dive loop. This dive loop is one of the rare dive loops on a B&M Invert. And this dive loop has some good whip, especially for those sitting in the back rows. You then go through a vertical loop, which wraps around the lift hill, followed by a 0G roll. And instead of being whippy, this 0G roll is floatier and more graceful than aggressive. As you come out of that 0G roll, you dive downwards and up into the first half of the pretzel knot. This element feels like a bat wing, but you enter on the opposite side of the half loop. As you whip downwards, you get a powerful amount of positive G-forces, and it is at the bottom of the pretzel knot that you reach the ride's top speed of 68 miles per hour. You then climb up into the second half of the pretzel knot, which is another great whippy moment, followed by another vertical loop. You definitely get some great whip in the back row going through this vertical loop. Out of the vertical loop, you take a forceful right-hand turn up into the ride's final inversion, a graceful inline twist. This inline twist is a great break before the final leftward-downward helix, which climbs up into the final brake run, thus completing your ride. Banshee is an incredibly powerful invert. Despite its drawn-out layout, Banshee is non-stop from the moment you leave the lift hill to when you hit the final brake run. This roller coaster has great moments of positive G-forces, good whip, and 2 amazingly graceful moments, which gives you a little break in between the whip and the positive G-forces. It is amazing how this coaster uses the terrain quite well. That dive out of the 0G roll into the first half of the pretzel knot is awesome. The fact that you don't even hit your top speed until halfway through the ride is insane. And when you hit that top speed at the bottom of the pretzel knot, you really feel it. Much more so than when you hit the bottom of Afterburn's Batwing. And that intensity continues right until the final brake run. That helix delivers some of the strongest positive G-forces on any invert. This coaster is a great invert, and the theming is cool. That ride sign and the Son of Beast monument look nice, especially when you get visuals of trains flying through the dive loop and the first vertical loop. Aside from the ride itself, Banshee does have a little rattle, but that rattle is not nearly as bad as it is made out to be. Our rides on Banshee were amazing. The back row is incredible as you feel those positive G-forces throughout the entire ride, and the 68 mile per hour speed enhances the ride. Banshee is a long invert that goes from one element to the next quite well. As for the restraints, those restraints are tight, but they don't take away from the ride experience at all. They are actually quite comfortable. And aside from the ride experience, this ride's operations, like Diamondback's, are hit or miss. One day the crew is rolling trains, making it easier to get re-rides. The next day, they are double stacking trains with 3 train operations. Those hit or miss operations might be in part because of a sporadically enforced shoe policy. Another reason for the hit or miss operations might be the lack of a single rider line, as there are some dispatches where entire rows are empty, which only lengthens an already long line on busy days. While the operations are hit or miss, the ride experience can be quite good, especially since Banshee pulls some great positive G-forces. Overall, Banshee is a great ride. It has a great mix of elements and some strong moments of positive G-forces over a long ride duration. While Banshee does have a rattle, that rattle does not take away from the great ride experience that the ride delivers. For our final score, we give Banshee an 8.5 out of 10. This invert is definitely one of the best out there. It is forceful, long, and incredibly fun. It also helps to anchor Kings Island's top 4. So, let us know in the comments below if you have ridden Banshee at Kings Island, and if so, what you think about it. And if you enjoyed this video or are new to the channel, please like and subscribe for more coaster content like this. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more coaster reviews and amusement park content coming soon to Coaster Adventures, and we hope to see you in the next one.